good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to yet another rendition of the Three-Organ Spectacular here at Holy Trinity Church. I thought I had trained you better than that when I walk out onto the stage, but you'll have to make it up to me by applauding even louder at the next piece. Thank you for being here today. We are very excited to present yet another afternoon of music rearranged for three organs, and also to those joining us on live stream, we welcome you as well. If you're in our building and unfamiliar with the layout, restrooms are just straight down this side aisle right into the back hallway. And for now, I think that's about all you need to know. We have just heard the music of the great German composer Sigrid Karg-Ehlert, and that was originally written for brass and organ, and has been rearranged for us to play on three different organs. We moved to the music of Mozart, a very familiar name, and this is music originally written for, it was two organs and strings, and so we have rearranged this for three organs, and this is the opening movement of his sonata in C major. For those of you who may not ever attended this concert, just the kind of layout of the land here, we have the organ at this console and all the pipes of the organ that belongs to this church. And then we bring in instruments from outside. We have a very large electronic organ here in the middle. And then we have another one in the back of the church. And then we are able to just come from all directions, assaulting your senses, as it were. The next piece, actually, as part of this concert, not only do we play arrangements for the various organs, we also like to show off this the main instrument here in the middle by having each of the three of us do a couple solos. And so the next one comes from Dr. Shawn Thomas from Prince of Peace Lutheran Church down in Largo, where we just did this concert last Sunday afternoon and then packed it all up and brought it up here for this weekend. So this is a very interesting take on a very familiar Christmas carol. We'll hope that you will enjoy hearing the Greensleeves Tango. I told our friends down in Largo last week that at the end of that piece, it's like Shawn wasn't having a stroke. That was actually the music that was written. It's got a little weird for a second, but you can always get away with anything as long as you end with a major chord afterward. So you have just heard the Greensleeves Tango. I learned a very valuable lesson also last week down in Largo. I talked about our next piece, and I said with it had just been Valentine's Day the week before, and so this melody should be very familiar. And I started talking about that the person that arranged this piece just died last year in Florida, and she came up afterwards and she said, well, isn't that, I won't tell you the name of the piece, I'm gonna let you figure that out, but she said, isn't that such and such? And I said, well, yeah. And she goes, well, you said the person that wrote it died last year, but that piece has been around for 200 years. Just so you don't get tricked here and sit there scratching your heads for the next 6.5 minutes, the tune is an old tune that has been rearranged by Charles Callahan, who actually lived a good portion of his career in Florida and did just die last year, but he has taken the melody and done a kind of a different arrangement that shows off a lot of colors. So you'll now, I hope I have clarified that for this for the hors d'oeuvres afterwards. I will not have to explain it all over again. This next selection needs no introduction, as it is probably the most famous first three notes ever conceived in music history. has been one of our staples. Given a year or two off since we began this concert. This concert actually began not here, but in my first position in Florida at First Methodist Church in Ocala. And we started with 2 organs and then came to Gainesville. And after my first year here, we decided to give it a whirl. And then 2 organs became 3 organs, and here we are today. and I rearranged that toccata and fugue, starting for 2 organs, and then we were able to split it up around amongst us. These next 2 selections. So for those of you who have come to the concert today, expecting to hear the fabulous musical stylings of Pete Kinsey, Pete retired. So what I said to the people in Largo was, do not get up and start leaving because Pete is not here until after my back is to you. And then, and even then, I want to see very few empty seats that were not there before. Pete provided us the organs from the beginning, and he was also the one that did the wonderful medleys on many sounds that probably should not come out of an organ of any kind. But you heard lots of great tunes, lots of great just things that he was able to bring a little black box about that big, and he was able to bring into the instrument. Through the joys of modern technology, he was able to bring even more sounds than we already have. But he did retire this past year. We're very grateful that Central Music in Clearwater, which is right beside Largo, where Shawn, who has disappeared, where Shawn is the organist, Shawn was able to speak with them and have them provide the instruments. So we're very fortunate to continue this concert. And so in the meantime, the last time I played these 2 pieces, I actually had bubble machines sitting right here. I thought my boss was going to have a heart attack. And however, I didn't bring the bubble machines today. I had other things to do. However, I don't know how many of you remember Ethel Smith from the movies. She was the one that played the Hammond organ, and quite well and quite fast. But these are 2 of her arrangements. And I said the hints are, the first one will be about a season you never see in Florida. And the second one, anyone here from the state of Illinois, there are, yeah, all right. So that next one should ring for you. So here are a couple of tunes written for the Hammond organ, arranged by Ethel Smith. So who figured out the clues? What's the season we never have in Florida? Autumn leaves. And then, of course, Chicago. All right, just checking to make sure you're listening. Our next section is we have done from the beginning, which kind of inspired this concert many years ago. And for those who've heard the story, then sit back and relax. There are people who haven't. Over in Paris, France, the Cathedral of Notre Dame, which I did happen to look up, it will finally reopen December 8th of this year after the fire that swept through it in Palm Sunday of 2019. So 5 years and 7 months later, the great cathedral will reopen. It has been a long project. However, the music you're about to hear was written for that cathedral. And anyone ever been to Notre Dame? Who's well, then many of you know the story. In the back of the cathedral is where the main organ lives, and it is the large instrument, which is relatively unharmed because it sits back under the towers, and the fire was in the roof over the actual nave. So the organ was miraculously very little damage, a lot of smoke and ash, but the organ was taken out, completely cleaned and put back in. But that is the grand orgue, as is called, and the organists who play that organ, there are currently 3 or 4, depending upon who has gotten another job in the last 5 years. But the organists that play back at the back are known as the organist titulaire, or the titular organist. The title, it is one of the most prestigious post in Paris to have as an organist, and these organists play for hundreds of masses a year and other events. And so then at the front of the church, no less important, there is a smaller organ, and the choir sings at the front, and they have their own organist. So it's like, it must be nice. I need to see about getting one of those around here. I'll play at the back and let somebody do all the work up front. We actually have a very talented assistant organist who is actually out of town this weekend. And so what this music was written when Louis Vierne, the great French organist in the early 1900s, he decided that it would be neat to write a piece where the choir and the choir organ would sing at the front, and then the large organ in the back, which at that time did not have the modern technology of televisions and cameras and monitors, so the organist at the back cannot see anything going on. So Vierne wrote this great music where the grand orgue, the big organ, plays these big interludes or plays some accents in between, and you'll hear when the choir is singing that the big organ is not playing nearly as much because that was how it worked out in that building. And so for this piece, however, we just had to swap, and we have the grand orgue is here, and then the Holy Trinity choir and the choir organ is in the back of the church. And so you are about to hear Louis Vierne's Mass for choir and 2 organs, where the part of the titular organist will be played by yours truly, and the somewhat important, yes, actually, very important part of the choir, I meant to say, of the choir organist will be played at the back of the church by Dr. Seth Bott. You've not seen him yet. He will play a solo for you shortly up here, so you can actually see the face of who's been playing for the last 45 minutes. But on this, if you will withhold your applause until the end of the Mass, you will find that the effect just of this room and the way the organs carry the sound will just be really quite something when you just take it all in. And at the end of the Agnus Dei, you can see that in your program, the listing. At the end of that, feel free to applaud with wild abandon. Here is Louis Vierne's Messe solennelle. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We now bring Dr. Bott up here to the front organ so you can have a look at him for a second while he plays a little bit different Bach, that's a little less familiar, but nonetheless very light and lively, as it were. So please enjoy the fugue in G major, also known as the Jig Fugue. So, in case the news has not made it your way, this is actually, sadly, with mixed emotions, my final public performance here at Holy Trinity Church, as I will be moving to Birmingham, Alabama on May 1st for a new position. We do have a wonderful international concert organist on March 17th that I very much encourage you to come hear. And then our final major musical offering will actually end up being the morning of April 21st instead of a concert that afternoon, and instead of a concert on the 28th, as I start packing the boxes. And certainly it has been 16 years of wonderful concerts, and having so many of you here for almost each and every one of them. You've brought your friends, you brought your family, you brought people you didn't like. That was fine too. But in the meantime, as of course, costs have gone up in the last number of years, so we need to finish this thing out in good style. For those who have given, your names are included in our program. For those of you who have given to us over the years, thank you so very much. But for those who have either would like to give or might not like to give, I'm going to guilt you by actually passing the plate right in front of your face. I have no shame, thank you very much. What are they going to do, fire me? No, but if you, we do have just a few remaining obligations to take care of as I'm headed out, and I want to leave the church in a situation where then the next my successor will be able to start again and hopefully continue this series. But certainly, if you are so inclined, we would certainly appreciate that. And if not, that's also all right. We have always offered these concerts free of charge, and we want to continue doing that. But certainly, this aids us in making that possible. So while you're doing that, here is another lovely arrangement by Charles Callahan. The title is a little deceptive. You'll hear another familiar tune probably that stretches across the denominations. Softly and tenderly, Jesus is calling. This next one you might not recognize immediately by its title, but you would have at least heard it probably in a Tom and Jerry cartoon. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We finish up with one of our favorites, I believe has been in every concert since we started this. It'll be a familiar one. I always say you're welcome to clap along, but wait until towards the end and do it in time. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is hard to believe that we are at the end of another three-organ spectacular. For those who might remember the old days at Walt Disney World, to say that the last 16 years has been Mr. Toad's wild ride is certainly an understatement. We have had some wonderful events, and I know they will continue here in this church. Sadly, I will hopefully be starting some of these events over in Birmingham. I'm very excited to take what we've done here and to take it on, and since you have been a part of that, you will be going along with me. And so in your own special way and spirit. And certainly, if you're ever in the area, be sure to come over and say hello. There are apparently a lot of connections in this room to Birmingham. When I announced I was first going, I heard lots of friends and family and connections to that area. But we finish up with one we've been doing for a while. Some years yes, some years no. But we finish up with probably a very appropriate text to go on out into the evening. But first, before you go to the evening, please join us across the courtyard here. You can leave these doors or those doors, and please join us for we have wine and hors d'oeuvres. If you do not drink wine, the Diocese of Florida has instructed we have to have an attractive alternative. I'm not particularly sure I can think of an attractive alternative. However, we do have lemonade and tea, but do come and greet our artist. We always love to see you and to be able to say hello, and certainly to share this time that we've had in the last number of years. And I certainly thank you from the bottom of my heart for all that you have done and being a part of this. His Truth is marching on. Our men up here will sing a section. And then after that, the organs will play another chorus. At that point, I'll ask you to stand up and sing along on the last chorus. You all know it. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on. And as I told the people in Largo, then it guarantees us a standing ovation.